Okay, we're going to look at laws of exponents. This hopefully will be a revision, a lot of the material, because we did it in grade 8 and 9, maybe some grade 7 and 6, some of the ideas we've done before. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick thing of going over all of these laws, and there's a lot of them. The first one is just when you see what is an exponent. That first, the little thing in the bottom is called the base, and that letter we put on top is called the exponent, or the number we put on top is called the exponent. And it means that if you see a to the n, it means that there are n copies of n. It's multiplied together n times. So if you see 3 times 3, that really means 3 to the second power. 5 times 5 times 5 means 5 to the fourth power, and p times p times p means p cubed. Anything to the 0 power equals 1, but you can't be 0 because 0 to the 0 power is undefined. It means you're dividing by 0. You're not allowed to divide by 0. But if you see 3x to the 0, it means 1. In fact, if you see anything that isn't 0 to the 0 power, no matter how complicated it is with a bracket around it, it's equal to 1. Now, negative exponents, some of you might not know too much about that. When you see a negative exponent, like 2 to the minus 4, what this negative means is it's really a fraction. 1 divided by 2 to the fourth power. Well, 2 to the fourth power, 2 times 2 is 16. 4 times is 16. So 2 to the minus 4 is 1 over 16. If you had a minus 4 in the bottom, 1 over 2 to the minus 4, you could actually, it means it goes to the other side. It could go to the other side, and it would become 16. It would go to the other side of the fraction line and become 16. So when it's negative, it means you can go to the other side and change it to a positive. So if you see 1 over 5 to the minus x, it can jump to the top and become 5 to the x power. Okay, those are really important. We're going to practice some questions later on about them. But here are the main laws of exponents. When you multiply two things at the same base, you write down that base and you can add the exponents. When you divide, you can write down the base and subtract the exponents. If you put two things multiplied together to a power, both things are raised to that power. So it's a to the n and b to the n. If you have a ratio, a fraction to the nth power, both things are raised to that power. And the last one, if you have a power and you raise it to a power, you multiply the exponents. You multiply those powers. Well, that's most of the laws of exponents. Remember, at anything here, if you have a has got to be greater than 0 to make these work, and b has to be greater than 0. And it says that m and n needs to be a real number. Okay. Now, here's just a whole bunch of examples, If you multiply two things at the same base, look, we just wrote down the base and added the stuff on top. 3x and 4x are like terms, so it's just 7x. Here it's 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. You subtract 3 minus 5, you get negative 2, but the negative means put it in the bottom. You could have skipped that step and just gone 3 minus 5 and left the x in the bottom. That would work. But 12 divided by 3 equals 4. 2 minus 1, there's really a 1 there on the p's. That's 4p then. And 5 minus 3, because you're dividing, you subtract those numbers. Here's one, 3x squared. The 3 is squared and the x is squared. That's why it's 9x squared. Here's one, 3 to the fourth, 5 squared put to the third power. The 4 is put to the third power, so you go 4 times 3. And the 2 is put to the third power, 2 times 3. So you'd get 3 to the 12, 5 to the 6. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So that's 6 times 1. And this whole thing is just 1. 6 times 1 times 1 is just 6. If you had a fraction and you cubed all these things, the 2 would be cubed. The x divided by x squared, you kind of simplify that. Simplify what's in the bracket first. 2 over 6 is 1 over 3. You've got p, so you've got just p cubed in the top. 2 over 6, you've just got this 3 here, but x over x squared, 2 minus 1, leaves you with the x there. When you're dividing, you subtract. Now you cube the p, you cube 3, 3 times 3 times 3, that's why it's 27, and there's the x cubed. Okay, when you put a power to a power, you multiply these things. So minus 2 times 2x plus 1 is minus 2x times 2x is minus 4x. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. So I'm going to give you a bunch of questions just on the stuff that we've just done. Look at the examples and go back and do the best you can. I give you a memo as well. So hopefully that'll all help.